Hi everyone and welcome back to Rachel's Enchanting Cakes. Today we are going to be making these absolutely stunning hollow sugar balls filled with sprinkles. So here I have a selection of sprinkles by Superstrudel. Obviously you can use any brand you want. And I'm also using this mould by Simmy Cakes, which in the UK is actually available from Dawn Butler's official website. And I'm also using this particular brand of Isomalt. The first thing we need to do is actually get the mould ready. So simply place both halves together and you'll notice a hole in the bottom. It will come with some elastic bands, and wrap this round the mould so it's really tight and won't move, just so it's really secure. I then place a small amount of the Isomalt into this silicone measuring jug. You can melt this directly in the microwave on short intervals. This part may take just a little bit of practice, but do persevere. Now, being extremely careful. Ideally, if you can purchase some of the sugar gloves, do, just to protect your hands. You want to pour this Isomalt, once it's finished bubbling, directly into the mould. Once it's in the mould, you pour it just through that little hole there. You then need to take your time making sure it coats all of that hole, apart from the place that you've actually poured it into, because we're going to need that to be able to add the sprinkles before we actually seal it up. This can take a couple of practices. I did do it a few times, but you can remelt the Isomalt on the short intervals in the microwave. The reason you do it for short, like 10-second intervals in between the melting, is just to make sure you don't burn the sugar. Remember, Isomalt does go cloudy, so these ideally want to be made last minute, because they'll last roughly about 3 days, 2 to 3 days, but that all depends on the humidity. The more humid it is, they won't last as long and they'll go cloudy an awful lot quicker. This does not take long to set at all. Give it about 10 to 15 minutes just to be on the safe side, and then I will show you how to remove it from the actual mould. All you need to do now is take away the elastic bands, and then I gently peel away one side first. Remember, this is hollow, so it's extremely fragile. Repeat this with the other side. Just make sure it's released from the mould before we add the sprinkles. And then you want to put it back into the mould. Just use one half of it just to support that hollow ball. And then choose all the beautiful sprinkles that you're wanting to place into the centre. So you're going to use the mould as a support, and then just fill this as much as you want. You can fill it to the top if you want to. The next thing we're going to do is just secure that ball with a little bit more sugar, and then you can make as many of these as you want. And all you do to stick them together is just use a little bit more Isomalt. Or even better, this method I'm going to show you next, when I actually secure the base of this ball, whilst the Isomalt is still warm, not runny, but warm, you will be able to directly place it onto another hollow ball. This is really simple, so I take a small amount of baking paper, some leftover Isomalt that I have melted again in the microwave, and I have my ball here filled with sprinkles ready to be sealed. I'm being a bit more careful this time because I did accidentally burn myself. So I pour some of this Isomalt directly onto the baking paper, but you only need like a button-sized amount. It doesn't have to be a lot. What we have there is more than enough. I then just let it set slightly. This takes seconds, not minutes. Pick the piece of baking paper up and turn it directly onto the sugar ball. You then flip it the opposite way, and the baking paper will peel away beautifully. This is when you're now able to stick this to another sugar ball if you've already made one, or if you find it more simple, you can just melt a bit more isomalt to stick them together, or even use a blowtorch if you have one in your kitchen. And it really is as easy and as simple as that. You can see where I've sealed it. How beautiful do they look though, with the sprinkles inside, and people won't know how you have done it.